Hello, Dental A Team listeners. This is Kiera, and today is such a fun day. I have one of our incredible consultants, Trish, on the podcast with me. Her nickname in Dental A Team is, go ahead, Trish, say it.
Ta-da.
And explain what ta-da means, Trish, because it's my favorite nickname of anything. Like, it's one of the best we've come up with.
Well, it definitely got sticky, that's for sure. Okay, so ta-da stands for Trish Ackerman Dental A Team Ambassador, because I love referring anybody I can to us. That's either a client or somebody to come and work with us. I love this company, and I want everybody that I love to come and work here too. I want clients to join. So yeah, I'll take it.
Trish, like, it is one of the biggest compliments that you have referred people to our company. You have brought tons of people to us. Like, you are a walking little Dental A Team advertisement. And to me, as a boss, as an owner of a company, like, that is music to my ears. But like, didn't you just take that name on for another name in your life? Like,
I
this
did.
is sticking. So
I
tell.
did. It got that sticky. So I'm going to be a grandma very soon, which just sounds awfully strange to say out loud. But we had my original grandma name all picked out, which was going to be Cha Cha. But when I heard Ta-da, I'm like, that is really classic. That's going to stay. And my daughter and family, they're like, okay, we might have to grow into that a little bit. I'm like, well, get ready to grow into it because it's staying.
Well, our marketing team has already been working on some pretty fancy swag for you, Trish, because ta-da, if you don't know Trish yet, you're going to get to know her. If you haven't heard her as much, Trish is one of the most funny, I feel like you're just confetti in a human form. Like, you literally just like burst confetti everywhere you go. You make people laugh. Like, you have made me almost spit water of laughing so hard on calls together. You're just a good time. And so if you haven't gotten to work with Trish or you haven't got to meet her yet, welcome. She's one of my absolute faves. So excited that you're on our team and that you are the ta-da of the company. But today I wanted Trish to come on because I love a good office autopsy, and Trish has been consulting some clients, rocking them out, having some really incredible, massive wins. And so we thought, let's go behind the scenes. Let's see what that ta-da consultant over there has been doing in her spare time, consulting some awesome offices. And with that said, whenever we do an office autopsy, what we do these for is to help you see yourself in other practices' fabric. I think a lot of times people think dentistry is lonely and isolated, and it does not need to be. So what we're going to do today, we do mash up practices. So if you think this is you, there might be parts of you, it might be parts of another practice. We try to do that to keep practice confidentiality. But really, I also hope when you are a practice that's being highlighted in an office autopsy, just know that you get highlighted because we're freaking proud of you as the owner too. These things can't get done without owners executing and implementing. And while yes, we as consultants are really good at what we do, we truly are magicians. We're able to grow into ways that you couldn't even imagine, but we can't do that if you don't execute. So Trish, take it away. Let's kind of talk this office. Where were they when they joined Dental A Team? Then I always love to say, where are they now? Like, how long did it take us? And then we'll get into the how of how did you do it? What were some of the things you implemented? So take it away, Trish. Where was this practice when they joined us? And now where are they at a few short months later?
When this practice came to us, this was a really, really special situation because this is a legacy practice. And it was originally owned by Grandpa and then the current owner's father. So this is now the third generation of a dental practice. And when this practice came on with us, they were doing many, many, many things right, but there was no traction taking place, and they were very stuck. They were very stagnant. And the current owner, this is a really big deal. This was again because of the legacy that it's holding, and he was struggling. He was struggling financially. He really was. There wasn't a lot of knowledge. He didn't have a lot of knowledge around the current overhead, what it should be, and things were feeling. He was feeling a pretty big pinch, and I had to give him so much credit. I think it takes a lot of courage to reach out to get the help, because it's like practices don't typically reach out to us because everything is going so great. Mm-hmm. It's usually when they're starting to feel something's not right, something's uncomfortable. And he did just that. And they had an extremely congested schedule. They have a large patient base, as you can imagine, because many are still, that were patients of his father. So what was happening is, because of the congestion, they weren't able to see new patients right away. It was like a six week wait for that. There was several patients in the hygiene that were still active that weren't able to get in. And then again, there was just kind of like a bunch of stuff on the schedule, just stuff. So they were working really hard. And what I did is I really walked through the specifics of his patient base to show him you actually have way more patients than you do available hours, which is why you're stuck here. And how do we do this? Well, we were also a little restricted on that because this is a 5-op practice. So we had, an op for each doctor, an overflow, and then the 2 hygienists. But what we did is we got creative because we knew we had to add hygiene. That was a must. And we also had to allow more openings much sooner for the new patients, because what was happening when I pointed out that he was basically giving his new patients away to his competitors because they were waiting so long, that really got his attention.
Absolutely.
So we ended up, the first thing that we did is added a hygienist, which now brought those 2 doctors down to 1 op each. And that really scared them because we were handcuffed. It was like we were handcuffed in every direction. But we got very creative and we designed very strategic doctor schedule blocks so that they know when there's going to be production and they know when they can make the time for like the sand and the water appointments, post-ops and things like that. But the staggering of the schedules made a huge difference. The practice was also only open Monday through Thursday. So we changed it to Monday through Friday. So on Mondays and Fridays, those doctors do have their 2 ops again. So that has worked well. When we implemented that design, we also implemented some patient filtering so that they could get in the new patients, not emergencies, but they could get in the new patients with significant needs right away. And also not take the risk of giving those away to a competitor. If they have significant dental needs, get them in right now. And we took away the focus of like, they had the protocol. A lot of doctors like for those new patients to go through hygiene first. And that's a great structure. It's a great structure for patients without significant dental needs. Right. So that all of a sudden opened up the door to where both of the doctors were getting very comprehensive new patients on their schedule right away that needed significant amount of dental work. Then they could eventually get into the hygiene department. With that, when we designed that, within 6 weeks, this practice had hit their production goal for the first time in over a year. The team was starting to get very numb to goals. They weren't even looking at the numbers anymore. The numbers weren't mattering to them. And then all of a sudden there was this light coming at the end of the tunnel where they hit the goal. Then they hit it again and they've hit it again. He has not hit goal in the last 4 months.
Wow.
And the trend that they're on, running parallel with getting the new patients with the significant needs and such, what I also did is ensure that both him and his associate were really polished on presenting treatment. They had intraoral cameras that were collecting dust like a treadmill in a living room that a lot of people have seen happen or hanging clothes on. They got those dusted off. They use them on every single patient. There's a way to use photography and there's a way to use photography.
Absolutely.
And this doctor, anything I encouraged him to try, anything, he did it. There was zero pushback on any of the recommendations. I know how this works. I know what doesn't work. And when these doctors, like this practice, when I broke it down, like here's how you use photography and here's how you share it with the patient, it just continued to skyrocket. The whole team was on board with him. Then we got the associate dentist on board. And we are now getting ready to, he's getting ready to start construction. We're doing a build out. We're adding ops.
Wow. And Trish, how long has this been? So you started with this practice. They're not hitting goal. They're not doing the things that they wanted to do, legacy practice, to now hitting goal 4 months in a row. How long has this client been with you?
Since April.
Since April. So right now where we're recording, that's about 5 months that this client's been with Trish. And to hear that, what I think is magic, one, Trish, shout out to you. I think beautiful job as a consultant, because when we go into an office, there's literally thousands of levers that we could go after. And I think something that consultants have to really do, and something I'm very sticky on any consultant who works with us, and Trish, kudos to you, is finding the one lever that's going to move the practice forward the most, the quickest, the fastest, for fastest ROI that's going to get there. Because Trish, you could have gone in and implemented, X, Y, or Z, and they would not see the results. But you saw, I mean, you got tight space. And I think also having a consultant that comes to the table that's willing to think outside the box. I mean, you got 5 operatories, 2 doctors. That's squishy. that's a squishy. And for you to realize they're not maximizing all the days that they could be, and to do it in a way to help both doctors. I also know that you have maybe played a little competition game, because you realize and you find out that when doctors are a little competitive, it works for some, doesn't work for others. But then they start to watch to see, hey, if this doctor can do it, I think I can do it. And it's not doing anything unethical. It's truly making sure that they're looking for opportunities, using intraorals, like stuff that was already there. And I think this is what I love about being consultants are we see the entire treasure map. We see all the different things we could do. And we're like, all right, this is going to be a fun game. And Trish, this is why I think you're the confetti, like in a human form. You look at this and say, how can I make this fun? How can I get these people bought into it? And then we go for the harder pieces. But you dug gold. You found the intraoral cameras and you taught them a few things. You figured out how to change the scheduling. And what I hope people hear is Trish did that in about 3-4 moves very quickly, and they're hitting goal. So when you're sitting here stuck at the ceiling and thinking, oh my gosh, there's no way to get there, I just want to help you see that the answer is probably much closer than you think it is. You just are buried and you can't see it. And you need somebody outside who's not sitting in it that can guide you. And like, shout out to this doctor, these offices, they take your lead. I feel like it's like, if you're going to hire an expert who's been there, done that successfully. Trish, I like to highlight, tell me, how many team members before you came to Dental Team, how many team members were you overseeing?
In my past? Oh gosh.
Yep.
I think at the max the max at the end, it was it was close to 160.
160. And how many practices were you overseeing at that time?
16.
All right. So you have a consultant who has worked with 16 practices, 160 employees, overseeing them. Do you think she knows a thing or two of how to help a 5-op practice with 2 doctors and a smaller team turn a few levers very quickly to get them up to where they need to go? The answer is absolutely yes. And I think, Trish, that's the magic. That's the beauty that you were able to do so quickly, so thoroughly, and just something real fun. I know, like, this is a quick podcast. I asked you to come in between client calls. So I know there's so much more magic I just want to share with everybody. But as we wrap up, because I do know, like, you guys, they're consultants. They podcast in between coaching calls. They're here to deliver to clients and to also share with you. But any last thoughts you want to add as I know we wrap up, so you can get on your way to another client, help them get their magic? Any last thoughts you have of this very quick office autopsy that you think people should recognize? Maybe they're in the same boat as well.
Getting uncomfortable. Getting uncomfortable is going to be very important, and it's okay. This doctor got uncomfortable during the implementations that we were making. There was a team member that was not on the bus, and that was also holding the practice back a little bit. When we go in to make these types of changes, it's like it's the unknown. I do certain things a certain way every day, the same, and I understand how it feels when you're asked to do it differently. But when I first go in, that's the first thing that I will kind of announce and ask: are you going to be okay getting uncomfortable with me? Because I promise, I'm here. I'm in your corner, and my job is to not watch people fall. Mm-hmm. My job is to watch them rise. And, and I use the 6-pack analogy. We all want the 6-pack of abs, and it's going to require a lot of sit-ups, and our abs can get a little bit sore, but the outcome is just really, really magical. And so once they make the commitment, like, okay, yeah, I'm ready, let's get uncomfortable, that's when it really takes off.
That's incredible. And I think, Trish, like you said, we can give you all the tactics. We can help you with all the how, but you've got to be showing up as a practice. So if you're not ready to get uncomfortable, it's not the time for you to do consulting. But I would say, like you said, most people call for consulting when they're much further down the path of hardship than they should. So if you're kind of like, all right, I know I could do some help, I know I could make some changes, now's the time. But you also have to be willing to be uncomfortable. So, Trish, I know you've got to run. I appreciate you so much being on the podcast. I think you just bring so much magic. You're so welcome. And for all of you listening, if you can see yourself maybe in this story that we shared, I know it was a very small snippet today, but there's so many things that we do. But I hope you can see in just a couple of months, this practice's life was changed. Utterly changed. This doctor is having more fun. They're more excited. They're dreaming again. They're living their best life. They're loving it. The team's excited. The team's re-engaged. So if you're maybe in that, like, gosh, we're kind of like losing momentum, reach out. We'd love to help you. hello@thedentallyteam.com or head on over to our website, thedentallyteam.com. Book a call. We're here. We'll do a totally complimentary practice assessment. Look to see where you are. Look to see some of the gaps. No pressure, just massive momentum for you. If we're a great fit, awesome. Otherwise, we're going to send you on your way with a lot of great tips. You're going to have a lot of fun. And hey, you might even get to dodge your consultant. So reach out. Trish, love having you. Go have the best day. And for all of you listening, thanks for listening. And I'll catch you next time on the Dental Team podcast.